Keeping It Real. This is Alexia Alvarez.
And Althea Wiley.
And I'm Ron Suarez. And today we have our very special guest, the Martin County Tax Appraiser, Ms. Jenny.
Thank you for having me.
So thank you for taking time out of your busy day to join our little show. We really are very appreciative of you and taking the time to do that. So we're looking forward to some great information to share with all of our guests. And that's that. So can you start off with how you got here?
Sure. Well, Jenny Fields, I was born and raised in Stuart, Florida. I've worked in the office since I was 19 years old in 1989. Kind of worked my way up through the office and the division, and the whole time under Laurel Kelly, who was the property appraiser. She decided to retire last year and asked me if I would be interested in running for office. So I entered the realm of politics last year, ran for office, and I was successful. So I thank you. I was sworn in January 5th, so I'm just rounding up my first year as officially as the property appraiser. So that's where we are today.
That's awesome. And in that year, I mean, has it been everything you thought it would be? And
it's been more.
Yeah.
It's just been more. You know, before it was just day to day, and I'm here doing my job, but now I'm doing a job that I love, and I'm taking it in a direction that's. I mean, we always had Laurel. She had such a great foundation. She built a great foundation, but just to take it to a whole nother level and getting out to the public and educating them and about what benefits are available. It's just if I could do something for somebody else, and I'm seeing it take off, and it's more than I actually expected. It's been great.
That's awesome. And, Jenny makes the point that, it's doing something that you love to do. When you do that thing that you do like we do, right? Exactly. It's not even work at all, right? Yes. It's actually a lot of fun. And certainly you feel privileged in order to do it.
And because I was born and raised here in Martin County, not that, but not that y'all are. But we're just keeping it real because I thank you for being real. It is so nice to come into an office such as this and meet someone as yourself and yet feel welcome.
Thank you.
And warm, and relaxed.
Well, I've always just been me, and the podcast and going and speaking. It's like that's the property appraiser, but I try to bring me because I am you are me, and I was at a normal job for 30 years, and it was like now you're at the head of it. It's like what is it's still me. So thank you.
I appreciate that.
Thank you.
That's cool, and that's actually that sort of feeling is evident when as soon as you walk in the door, it feels like you're actually you're not intimidated, right?
Exactly.
It's very easy to come in here. So please, anybody listening, if you have questions about your appraisal, about anything to do with the value of your home, come on in and speak with them. Very approachable, very easy.
Thank you.
Exactly.
We're
And
happy to
also
have
we're
you.
going to leave all the information for the Martin County and our pages, phone numbers, emails,
Yes.
and website.
Yes.
Absolutely, absolutely. So today we wanted to talk a little bit about the Homestead Exemption, which to me is, I'm from New Jersey. So to me it's like, Christmas.
Yes, very much.
Yes, absolutely. So can you tell us a little bit more about the Homestead Exemption, exactly how it works?
Okay, so everything we're going to talk about today, save our homes, portability, everything stems off Homestead Exemption. Homestead Exemption, you have to own your home, you have to live in your home. That has to be your primary residence. Now, I'm not saying you have to live in your home 6 months. There is no minimum. But you have to declare that home your primary residence, which means your driver's license has to be registered there, your vehicles have to be registered there, you have to be registered to vote here. I mean, you don't have to vote, but there's, But again, it's declaring that as your primary residence. You file for homestead. Homestead exemption is up to $50,000 in value off of your assessed value, okay? It's about just over $600 a year in savings, okay, when you're using like an average mortgage. It's a lot, okay? But that's the basis of everything. And so again, you can have multiple homes. You can co-own with your child, and you might have homestead somewhere else and your child has homestead on that house. But again, you have to get the homestead exemption first, because everything we're going to talk about after that you don't even qualify unless you do that. But again, you have to own it. and you have to be in it on or before January 1 of the year you file.
Right.
And you said the assessed value versus.
Correct.
Can you explain the
Yes.
difference?
Market value is basically, and you guys will know this, market value is what we believe your property is worth between a willing buyer and a willing seller minus cost of sale, okay? That's what we're saying. You can go sell your property for a little bit less than market, but that's what we're saying.
Okay.
Assessed value is basically what the market value we said was, minus any of your benefits or caps, okay? And what I mean by that, a benefit or a cap is, first you have your Save Our Homes benefit. In 1992, Save Our Homes was passed, and what that meant was, no matter how long you have to have homestead, but as long as you're there, no matter what happens with that market value, which we all know, prices fluctuate,
Yeah,
market goes up, exactly. So no matter how high your market value goes, your assessed value cannot increase any more than 3% a year, okay? And it's actually 3% or the consumer price index, whichever comes in lower each year. Like this year it was only 1.4%. So it's a maximum of 3%. So if you can imagine, as you own and homestead that home for quite some time, your market value is inching up, there starts to be a gap, okay, between what we say it's worth and now this assessed value that's been limited from increasing 3% all these years. So that's the first Save Our Homes benefit. Second one is, like homesteaded properties, anything not homesteaded, commercial, industrial, warehouse, rental properties, anything that's not, they're also capped, but they're capped at 10% each year, okay? And then you have agricultural use. You know, if you have a bona fide agricultural business and you apply and you're approved, your land value is valued at a low use value and not the highest and best use value, which would be if you were to go buy raw land and so forth. So you have all these benefits that apply to your assessed value. That's the difference. When I say market value, that's what it's worth, but assessed value means you might have all these caps and limits, limitations.
Right, sure. So that's interesting. So the caps I find most interesting. So on a homesteaded property, the most it could go up is 3%, but it could actually go a lot less than that, right? Depending on what the CPI is.
Correct.
So what happens in a market where, like in 2008, where we had a huge market correction? On the negative side, does it go faster or a faster increment down, or is it also capped at 3?
It will always match your market value. But let's say, for example, you've owned it for 10 years, right? And let's say your market value is $300,000, your assessed value is only $100,000, right? Well, the fact that your market value would drop $100,000 in a year, probably not likely. So it'll keep going down, okay? But your assessed by law has to continue to go up until they meet. Okay, so in a market where the values were going down, that was a hard pill to explain to people. Well, wait a second, you're showing my market value went down, but yet my taxes still increased. Well, it's because it hasn't quite gotten there yet. So it will continue to go up.
Well, I mean, in our taxes, our schools, our public offices like trash collection, police, fire, emergency services. Those costs never go away. Those folks have to pay their taxes also. So it's kind of almost obvious that it can't go down on value. So that's interesting. Now, with regards to agricultural and industrial, that's 10%. You said
not ag.
Oh, not ag.
Ag land is already valued at a use value, which is lower.
Okay.
It's everything else besides homestead and ag land.
Wow.
So everything else, commercial, a strip center, retail, warehouse, all of those are capped at 10%.
So you can really that's actually excellent, because then you know what your costs are going to be year over year. It's not going to jump up to a ridiculous amount.
The only thing not subject to any of these limitations is new construction. So if you go to add a pool, that's not subject in the first year. So your pool will go on at full market value. And then the next year, it's in the total, and then that can't go up. So those caps are in place except for new construction.
Interesting. That's excellent. Yeah. So that's fantastic. And like I said, I was born and raised in New Jersey, and there is nothing there for that. So it's excellent that Florida does that to help its homeowners, really.
So
So
New Jersey doesn't have homestead?
they had a rebate at one time, and I don't know.
Yeah.
You're supposed to get these checks, and they never really got there. So.
I mean,
Oh, sorry, don't mean to diss
wow.
New Jersey, but
I mean,
that's what makes the Sunshine State so wonderful as
And
far as the tax advantage.
it's very important to remember too that once you claim homestead exemption here, you can own homes. We have a lot of people that come down here during the summer or the winter and, you know, back and forth, but they can't have a residency-based exemption anywhere.
Right.
So, you know, so that people don't get in trouble, you can't have homestead here and the star exemption in New York, or, you know, because anything that's residency-based.
Right. And the qualifier is you have to spend the majority of the time here, right?
No.
Oh,
There
really?
is no minimum. That's a misconception. A lot of people think you have
I
to.
didn't know that.
No, a lot of people believe that you have to have at least a minimum of 6 months in your
Right.
house down here.
Yeah.
You don't have to be here a day.
Wow.
I mean, you have to be here a day.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, because you have to own and reside. But there is no limit, there's no guideline. This just has to be your primary residence. All your identification has to be registered here. You can't have any vehicles up in another state and registered in another state. They have to be, if you drive the car here, it has to be registered here. So.
Sure, definitely. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
That's not great information because, you know, when I purchased my home, that's what they told me. You know, you have to claim that it's your
Right.
primary residence, but you have to leave 90% of the time of the year to claim a homestead.
Mm.
That's what they told me.
Well, that's why our outreach is so important. We have an initiative going with realtors and getting out there and sending letters to them. How can we give us topics? We'll come to you. We would invite you in because realtors, to us, you're on the front line. You're the one who you're gonna be answering all these questions. No one moving here is gonna pick up the phone and talk to me. You know, they're gonna talk to you and they're gonna ask you all these questions. So it's what tools? How do we get different methods to make it easier for you? And I can go into some of that our website's changing all the time to give you the tools you need to explain that stuff.
That's excellent. That's an excellent thing. And you know, that's the thing when you're speaking to your agent, you know, you really ask those questions, you know, about taxes. And you know, look, a realtor is not going to be able to help you or answer your tax questions. That should only be answered by a tax professional. But you know, there are some things that, you know, a good agent can help you with, and that's point you in the right direction
Correct.
as far as that's concerned. So as I understand that, also in 2008 there was the Save Our Homes initiative. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Absolutely. So in 2008, there was another constitutional amendment that passed, and it was the transferring of your Save Our Homes benefit, and that's what everyone now knows as portability.
Right.
So portability, so you have this, remember this gap between your market and your assessed value, and so it's a cap differential. It's the amount of value that's not taxed.
Right.
It's just floating out there, no taxes are being collected on it. And again, right on our homepage and our website, we have all these flyers that we created that explains this. So if you ever want to give somebody, these are all on there. This is one of them on the Save Our Homes.
Okay.
And basically what this shows you is, like, for example, this market value is $312,000. Their assessed value is $216,000, which means there's $96,000 not taxed. Okay, so now when those people decide to move, okay, to another state or somewhere else in the state, you have 3 years, and that includes from the January 1st of the year you sell. Okay, that's the first year. So you have 3 years from that point to go buy a house and homestead that house anywhere in the state of Florida.
3 years.
3 years.
Wow.
Now remember, if you sell in the beginning of the year, you have you have that full year, you have the next year, and then you have the next year. If you sell in like December, January 1st counts that year. So if you sold today, this year counts as 1 year.
Right.
So you're losing a lot of
2
time
years,
here.
right.
Then you really have 2 years.
Yeah.
But technically, it's on that 3rd year. So if you sell today, you would need to reapply for homestead in 2023 by January 1, or you lose it. So what happens is, let's say you move, typically a year from now, you're going to find a home anywhere in Florida, as long as it's in Florida, you go buy it, you file for your homestead. What happens is, that $96,000, like on this example, that's the Save Our Homes benefit.
Okay.
You can take that and move it to your new property. So now, for example, let's say you bought a piece of property and it was $200,000.
Okay.
That $96,000 is going to come off the $200,000, which that county or wherever you move is saying the market value is. they're going to take off 96,000. Now you'll be down to 104. That's your assessed value. Now take your 50,000 exemption for homestead off. Do you see the benefit?
So from 64, that will be the tax.
Right. So like you have your $200,000 market value that you moved to. 96,000 comes off. Now your assessed value is 104. Now you deduct all your exemptions, which is homestead of 50,000. Take that off. You're talking for a brand new house, you might be paying taxes on 50,000. So
wow, so you got to get a bigger moving truck to put all that savings inside.
right.
So think of Jenny as she's taking your savings, she's putting it in a moving truck, and she's bringing it and delivering it right back to Amazon.
But also remember too, this is another flyer available on our website. This is all about portability. And why we did the flyer is because it can be confusing whether you're upsizing or downsizing.
Right.
And again, if you were moving from here, and let's say your house was valued at $400,000, and you're moving to that house that you found that was $200,000, that's a downsize.
Okay.
So you wouldn't take the full $96,000. You would take an allocated proportionate amount of the $96,000. Because what you do is you divide the market value of your old into the market value of your new, and that percentage multiplied times the 96, and that's what comes off. But now if you're upsizing, vice versa. Let's say I need a bigger home, I have 3 kids now, whatever. You're going from the $200,000 home to the $400,000, you're taking the full 96.
So whether you're upsizing or you're downsizing, it's still the same thing, but it's the percentage that you're increasing.
Correct.
So it's fair to everybody, which is awesome. And folks, I just want to show you something here. Like I made the joke about the moving company with the thing. I actually did use your truck right here. That's where all your cash is going.
We try to make these more visual,
Yes.
because I don't know if anybody's like me, I like pictures better than words.
Oh, yeah, sure.
And that was like another one. We just launched this one with the new Homebuyer Timeline.
Right.
And for realtors, this is great because what this does is this lets new buyers have an idea of their annual timeline of when they get to see their taxes. Because a lot of times, as you know, the people that we hear from are the ones that bought a year ago, but they now just got their trim notice. And the people that they bought from's exemptions, benefits, caps all came off, and now their taxes tripled. And they're like, what is going on? Well, it's because you purchased it from someone who had that benefit for 20 years.
Right.
And, they didn't know that. They're not aware of that. So this is educating them on how long it's going to be, when they need to file, and when they would actually see and how that impacts them and how to be financially ready for that.
So, Jenny, so say you're moving from Martin County and say you're going up to St. Augustine. Is that still applicable, or?
Oh, yes. Anywhere in Florida.
Anywhere in Florida. So whether you're moving down the street or whether you're moving to Jacksonville, you
Correct.
can absolutely enjoy that benefit.
Correct. And it's not even something that you really have to track yourself. Almost all property appraisers, when you go to file for homestead, one of the questions we ask you during your application process is, where did you live last year? Did you have homestead in any other, county or whatever? Based on how you answer those questions, we'll automatically generate that form that applies to you, that lets you apply for portability. And then what happens is we send that form, we fill out certain information, we send it to the county that you came from. They fill in the Save Our Homes amount that you qualified for on that last roll, on the last bill, and then they fill the rest of it. It comes to us, and that's how you get your portability.
And that form is
It's online.
It's actually part of the application process.
Okay.
In ours, when you file, if you come in house, as soon as you say, I lived in St. Lucie or I lived in Martin last year, we'll look it up. Did you have homestead exemption? We know those answers. So that application for portability automatically becomes part of it.
I have one question, Jenny. When customers apply, when the people apply to the homestead, let's say right now, January the 2nd, the same year, you're going to see the credit? Or
December 2nd? December 2nd. So anyone filing for homestead right now is probably because they just purchased it.
Yes.
Okay, so they're filing for 2022. So, and the reason being, to file for homestead, you have to own and reside in the property on or before January 1. So for the 2021 tax bill that just came out in November, that was based on the condition of the property on January 1. So if you didn't purchase it till after January 1, you don't even qualify for January 2021. Or you don't qualify for homestead in 2021. you would qualify for 2022. That's what this timeline is all about. Because January 1 is the qualification date for homestead. Do you own it or not? So if you don't own it until after January 1 of 2021, you would be applying for 2022. So the bill that you got this year is based on the seller's exemptions and limitations. Save Our Homes.
Mm-hmm. So if a person has had a home for a couple of years and never even knew about homestead exemption, which I just found out a couple of months ago that a young lady had heard, and said, I don't know, my taxes went up, I'm thinking, did you file a homestead?
Oh, no.
What is that? So do you find that a lot?
No, we try to do all the education. We send out 3 mailings all the time. So the first one goes out, a wave, is right towards the end of the year because we have a list of all the property, qualified sales that happen in the year. We take off all the ones who've already applied, so we knew they came and applied. So you might have 1,000 left. They still haven't applied. Now maybe they mean it to be a rental property, but we don't know. So we send it anyway. We send them a card. Hey, homestead, we do another reminder. And usually they only get as far as the trim notice. That first trim notice they received because now they lost it. That's usually when they call and go, wait, I had exemption, and then we explain, well, that was the seller's exemption. You needed to come in and file. We accept those late applications during the appeal period, which is what we call the August time when the trim notice goes out. And so they can still come in and apply at that time. It's very rare that somebody who would have qualified and wanted it never did it and years go by, because usually if you don't get our cards that we send out, you'll see it on your first trim notice you receive.
Yeah, that's exactly what you mentioned. That in New Jersey, this is something new, especially same thing with situation when I purchased a home. And they say, like you say, you send the postcard and they say all this, they mail it, all this. But you see this word like, I don't know, and you throw it away, but you don't know what it is.
Exactly.
And I think right now it's a lot of people moving from different states that they don't know anything about it. And she's right that we are the first people that we should tell them the benefit.
And that's why we, like I said, on our website, that's why we're creating these, they're single page PDFs. If somebody just mentions to you about portability or Save Our Homes or what's a trim notice, you literally open up our homepage and they're right there. You click on it, print it, and hand it to them. I mean, that's what these are all about, is just giving you the tools, because we don't expect you to answer all those questions, but just pointing somebody in the right direction, especially if you know you're talking to a buyer and they're buying from someone that you know has been there for 20 years. You can tell what's got to Save Our Homes. Sometimes it's just a nudge, like, hey, check out the property tax estimator. You know, that might help you out or something like that.
So, Ron, how did you know, coming from New Jersey, that this was your thing? Or
Great
was that the reason you came here?
I'll tell you why. Because I actually had heard about the homestead, but more importantly, I had a wonderful lady when I went there to inquire about the homestead. Hey, what's this? She was the nicest lady, and you know, she gave me all the information about it. I must have looked so funny to her because my eyes were like as wide as saucers. You're gonna tell me you're gonna take $50,000 off of my tax value? I was like, yes, I'm in. That's how I found out.
Oh, that's good.
Definitely, and great people like Jenny, who actually has been so nice with her time to actually sit with us and talk a little bit about this. So your web address is how
it's www.pa, like P as in Paul, A as in Apple, .martin.fl.us.
Excellent.
And we have a live chat feature. We have, I think, 15 operators all throughout the office. We man that live chat. So if you just have a quick question, you need to find something on the website, you need a link. Most of the information that we have on our website will link you to work directly where you need to be. Maybe it's the clerk or the tax collector's office website or something like that. But it's right there. We have live chat. We have an email that we answer it daily, and obviously we answer our phones, and we're always here. Anything like that. And like I said, any enhancements on the website, we try to make that be your tool, because we're just trying to, have it help you.
Oh, absolutely. On that Martin County tax appraiser, you can Google that too. It'll take you to the site. It's a wonderful site. I encourage everybody to jump on it. It's excellent. And I did get on the chat, and I got on there about a couple questions I had, and the response time was fast.
And if you see an operator that says, Jenny, I'm one of the operators, because I love to be on it. Because it helps me on where we can improve and what you're not, what somebody may not understand and how this can work better. I would say the last, so many enhancements we make every week on our website is because of something that I saw or somebody suggested. So I'm on there all the time. So if you get an operator and it says Jenny, it's me.
You might just be talking to the head honcho here in Martin County, which is excellent.
That is amazing.
Yeah, sure. So anyway, so we're getting close to the end of our show. Any closing thoughts?
Oh my God, it's so much information that I think I really
know.
have part two.
Well, you follow up.
Yeah, I mean, it's so much information for a lot of people that moving from different states,
Yeah.
even from different countries, and they don't know anything about it.
Absolutely.
And I think this is very rich information that we need to
It
spread
is.
out.
Sure.
Well, and our outreach in this office is our first priority, is just getting this information to you. How do we do it? We're contacting homeowners associations. How do we get in to talk to your residents? We're talking to realty companies. Can we come talk to your agents and pick a topic and we'll talk about it?
Yeah, for
We'll
sure.
invite you here. It's just all about outreach. It's just getting out there to tell people about this, because I don't, you don't want to get a phone call where, somebody's like, you're going to tax me out of my house and I can't even, and it breaks your heart because, it's just planning ahead, knowing if this stuff would have helped. And anyway, so it's just trying to figure out the best way to get it out there.
Oh God, yeah, definitely, for sure. Althea, any
I'm just so glad that she got into politics.
Thank you.
So I'm really glad.
Thank you.
You're a great asset to our community.
Oh, that's so
That's a blessing.
sweet. Thank you.
Absolutely. Fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
So anyway, so that we're coming to the end of the show now, and we certainly thank you for tuning in.
Yes.
I really want to thank you, Jen. Thanks so much
Thank
for
you so much for having me.
us.
It's my first podcast.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Excellent. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, first. So come on down if you have any questions about your tax appraisal. They're more than willing to help you out in any situation. So make it a point. If you have any questions, reach out. They're very accessible online. Make a call or come in person. So,
And what most important is this is where your tax dollars are going. This is well worth it. They just come down and see, especially if you're
Oh, thank you.
Yes, yes.
Welcome to have you.
so thanks again for joining.
Thank you for watching.
We'll see you
See you
next
next time.
time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.